新しい経験ワクワクで知らない状況とか不思議を心自身自身を信じていなかったそれでもぼーっと右にといた夢を見つける助けた君見つめると今は星座で振り返り一緒に笑って僕を乗り越えてみんな追いかけてYes, our dreams because we'll overcome. Did I butcher your ears? Sorry, guys.
Asagao Academy.
Hello, everybody. This is Jen here with a new Let's Play for you. This is Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club. What is it? It is a dating sim created by two lovely ladies, created especially for the Normal Boots team here on YouTube. What is Normal Boots? Normal Boots is a group of YouTubers who create content videos about video games. That's Let's Plays, reviews, comedic sketches, philosophy, a little bit of everything. A couple of the more notable prominent members are Peanut Butter Gamer, Gerard the Completionist, and JonTron. This video game's been going on for like 2 years in production. It was created by Cara Hillstock, who is the writer and director, and Danielle Hargrave, who is Asagao's creator and is also the sprite and CG artist. She is also Mrs. Peanut Butter Gamer. But yes, this game was kickstarted, earning around over $26,000, and has 7 different routes for each member of the, Normal Boots Club, and has a couple of the hidden routes too for your enjoyment. You play as the pink-haired protagonist girl, Hana, and she's starting at a new school full of rich students, and everything goes kinda a la High School Host Club once things start running along. The writing is witty, it's full of references, and it's self-aware, and it's tropey goodness. It's so funny, you guys. I have been sort of spoiled, quote-unquote, for this first chapter, but it's not that big of a deal. The first chapter doesn't have much of anything for the routes, but just letting you know, I'm getting ready to start this and try to go through as many of these routes as I can. Hold on, water. Okay, I know it's been out, the game's actually been out for a while, but I got the 1.0 updated version, which adds a completion bonus, and you get additional, artwork that you can unlock during the game. But don't just take my word for it. Go out and play this game yourself. You can download it at the link in the description. It also has an optional pay your own price for the download, so you can get this game for free, but you can also support the creators of this game in the process so they can make more games like this. Can you imagine if they made one for the Runaway guys? Chug a Conroy route all the way. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get started in the game. In 3, 2, 1, 0, play. Cutting off music in the process. Chapter 1. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Across from me sat a boy, half-faced. He is Two-Face, you guys! Everybody run! No. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading, and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had almost been an hour, in fact. No. It had almost been an hour, in fact, and he hadn't once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth over and over, which was incredible because there are absolutely no buttons on any of these seat cushions here. Oops, I accidentally clicked on the load data screen. You can save data, configure things. There's extra stuff, but I'm going to return. There's also like a little diary right here, which is optional. It just has like Hana's like thoughts of the day. Nothing much to see about here. I'll explain about this stuff a little later on. But yes, dear diary, today's the day I finally go to Asagao Academy. I couldn't sleep at all last night. When Dad dropped me off the train station, he held my hand and stroked my hair. "You look like your mother did," he said, but he didn't elaborate. I miss Mom. I miss Dad. But hopefully this will be my fresh start. Knowing that this is an anime and there's tropes all over the place, she's probably dead. She gave birth to a pink-haired anime character and they're just like, no, you're destined to die. Sorry. Anyway, over and over. Now and again I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. 1, 2, 3... The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy and his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green, varsity-like jacket, with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. It's Pro Jared! Okay, sorry. Keeping my cool. Stay in character. By the way, I'm going to try to do my best to do these voice impressions of each of the Normal Boots guys, but I make no promises on how good they sound. So you're a first year, then? He folded his newspaper neatly, set it in his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling? Yeah, it's amazing. Such a Tamaki Suo over here. Okay. Me? I'm gonna do my normal voice for Hana. Makes sense. Ah, the laughter. He glanced around the apartment, empty besides us, and laughed. Oh, no, I'm not a first year. I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. Hold on 2 seconds. Okay. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? The boy frowned. I picked up the hem of my cotton skirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. That's an interesting verb choice. It's because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again. A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those. He removed... No. It would be interesting if he just removed the acceptance letter from the front pocket, but no. I removed my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. The boy took it, studied it, then handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
Well then, Hana, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. It's partially voice acted by, like, the guys at Normal Boots. Oh man, if only it had reached that mark for it to be fully voice cast. That'd be beautiful. But then again, it would have me doing a lot less work. By the time I hiccuped a response... Wait, go back. He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared up into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name, and I never got his. 2 seconds again. Okay. The train settled at the station, and I filed out with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April, and the last frost of winter had come and gone. Keep that in mind. It is April. Okay? Okay. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering in the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with the swarm of blue-jacketed bodies, looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school issued black Oxfords clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from the train station to Asagao Academy for this first time. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow everything would be magically different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. I hadn't changed. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. It still seems to be pretty glossy. Are you sure we're still not looking at a pamphlet? This was it. Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. A girl pressed a button on one side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. A tired-looking man with gray hair called out for first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Hey, look at that girl! I turned a few feet away. A small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? Hold on, should I hold my nose a little higher for that one? How desperate can you get? Hot shame crawled down my neck. I attached myself to a group of girls following the few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against gravel. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. It never is in anime. They just get pink hair naturally. Diegetic, that one. Sorry if you get, distracted by the curtains in the background, if you see them. I literally have the windows open because, funny fact about Northern California, a lot of the houses here do not have air conditioning. Anyway, moving on. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign at the lawn reading, Primrose House. 'Cause everything's flower names here, everything. I hope you don't hear that in the background. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over.
Oh, you must be my roommate!
She has the most, like, fully voiced lines in this thing. I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle.
What?
Me?
Bingo.
Of course, you silly. Now let me try to get a good, normally high-pitched voice. Let's do this. Of course, you silly. Let me guess. Room 325? I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with a list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were gonna be a total main character. Mai's the Pinkie Pie of this universe. I'm sorry? What? When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair. I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I hadn't spent more than 5 minutes on campus, and I was already being mocked. Hold on. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slackened from an amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began laughing again.
Oh, no. It's great. I'm sorry.
I think now I want to take a moment to point out that the music in here is completely self-aware, and most of the soundtrack is remixed versions of different Normal Boots Club, Normal Boots guys theme songs. This is a remixed version of Pro Jared's theme, I believe. So that's fun. In fact, the character here, Mai, she looks very similar to Pro Jared's actual wife, Heidi. So this is kind of awkward, especially since both PBG, Pro Jared, they're married and they're in a dating sim. I'm gonna try to disconnect reality from fiction, as the game itself suggests. Okay. No, it's great. I'm sorry.
We're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh, gosh. I'm Mai Sasaki. You must be Hana.
Thank you, Mai. I bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai. All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. I hope you're not mad. Mai started walking towards the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Did you check in at the front desk already? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to. Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I could show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. But I did wait to string the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know? She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. She held the front door open for me, and I hurried inside. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties that were, more often than not, "How was your break?" and "Look how tan you got." Makes me wonder what tropical nation they were vacationing in, or maybe they were in extreme snow areas where you get snow tans. It seemed like everyone knew each other. I followed Mai as she led me through the maze of students and up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked the same as the last, narrow white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked to the front of each, the numbers rising as we climbed. You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year, and he's like totally dull. He just drags you around the entire campus and talks in that weird squeaky voice of his. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down the hallway to the 3rd floor. Mai stopped us in front of a door numbered 325. Here we are! Obsession by Calvin Stein. And The Tortured Soul is my only my guitar understands me world tour. So silly. A faint smell of potpourri wafted through the room. The walls, like the hallway, were a soft, powdery pink. Mai already defaced them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. Some of the photos were of cats, but most were of male models and rugged musicians. A bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored manatee, obviously. Obviously, it's a mirrored manatee. Mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and a thin cotton blanket that I didn't need to touch to know it was horribly itchy. I must have grimaced, because Mai quickly smiled at me. I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over break, and Mom got really mad at me because I brought 5 bags, but we were only staying there for a week. She laughed, pulled several blankets and pillows from her bunk, and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me.
Perfection.
There, that's much better. Hold on, I'm gonna adjust my seat. There, that's much better. Thanks, Mai. I placed my suitcase on the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, an old portable radio, and a small black box. Mai opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in. So, where are you from? I slid the now empty suitcase under the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here. It's a small town called Amaririsu. You probably haven't heard of it. I'm such a hipster that way, you know? I set the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Oh, did you go to a different boarding school, or... No, I went to a public school around the street from my house. Public school? What was that like? Were the students mean? Did you have a lot of friends? I always went to private schools. My parents work a lot, and my dad goes overseas, so I think they stuck me here for convenience. Oh, hey, what's that? I removed an ornately patterned origami crane from the black box and was setting it on the unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mother made it for me a long time ago. I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I assumed were provided for me. I swear, if something doesn't happen to that crane by the end of one of these routes... Wow, it's so pretty. I've never seen paper like that before. Oh yeah, the lights. Let me get them. I went to her own desk, opened the drawer, and pulled out a long, tangled string of fairy lights. I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up. She grabbed a container of pushpins and then pulled her wooden desk chair out and over to one wall. I did the same with my own. Together we pinned the lights around the perimeter of the room. How was the train ride over? Did you meet anyone? No, not really. I was in a compartment with some guy and...
What?
Some guy, huh? Was he cute? Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't even get his name. Mai seemed disappointed for a moment, then perked back up. You'll have to point him out to me. if I... You'll have to point him out to me if you see him again. I need to ship you with someone. Okay? Once we finished stringing the lights, Mai climbed down from her chair and brushed her hands together triumphantly.
Yeah!
Done! Okay, now it's time for lunch. The food here is pretty good. There's this ramen place down the street from campus that's like out of this world. But the school only lets us leave campus on weekends. Mai walked to the window. We could go today because it's Sunday and it's pretty nice out, but I guess you might want to go to the caf since you just got here. We could... She was suddenly interrupted by her own enthusiastic laughter. Oh my gosh! Mimi Santos totally just tripped outside and fell on her face. I saw it! Oh, is that mean to laugh? Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well, anyways, let's go eat. I'm totally starved. She led me out of the room before I even had the chance to respond. You get no say. You're the main character. The cafeteria was buzzing with students excited for the new year. The only people as nervous-looking as I felt were the tables of skittish, wide-eyed first-years. I stepped into line behind Mai, taking an empty plastic tray. We shuffled through, asking for helpings from the sulky cafeteria workers when we passed something that looked good. With full trays, Mai led me straight to the back, where a few students were already sitting. Hold on. Okay, just checking the time. Sorry. Okay. Mai sat down, and I took a seat across from her. Hi, Mai. How was your break? I gotta give her an annoying voice. It was good. Went to Italy and Spain. Dad fell off a ski jet and broke his ankle. It's so tempting to say jet ski. What even is a ski jet? It's better now, though. Oh, well, that's nice. I expected to be introduced, but the girl turned her back to her group of friends and Mai turned back to me. She began to assault her food with a fork and tell me in a practically minute-by-minute account about her fleeting romance last summer with a boy she met on the beach that didn't go further than a few salty kisses. I sat back and let Mai talk. For the first time since arriving on campus, I felt like I was finally able to breathe. I picked up my Brussels sprouts and studied Mai as she spoke. The more she talked, the more I began to notice small details about her. She had a high songbird voice.
What?
She was dynamic, her face twisting this way and that into exaggerated expressions as she spoke. She laughed often. She imitated people in wildly unflattering voices, seemingly unrelated to her actual opinion of them. That sounds like me. But most notably, she talked. A lot. The classic introvert-extrovert. Mai is the extrovert. And Hana is obviously the introvert. But then again, I'm an introvert too, so this works. I didn't find this particularly annoying, as it filled the silence and she hardly ever asked questions that required my full attention. This friendship is going to work out swell. Just as Mai was rounding off a shockingly detailed account of the time she accidentally walked in on her friend's older brother in the act of changing, a flash of familiar green caught my eye. I glanced over. Hey, that's him! Huh? Who? I leaned across the table and to whisper, just in case he could hear me through the ambient chatter of the lunchroom. The boy from the train. That's him.
What?
Jared? Yeah, with the weird green jacket and the swoopy hair. He just picked up his tray and was walking past us when something seemed to catch his eye. Oh, you. I looked up at him, suddenly realizing he was talking to me. Hana, I met you on the train. How are things settling down for you? Really well. I found my roommate and she's been helping me out. I gestured to Mai, who was thunderstruck. In fact, looking around, everyone was. People stopped eating to turn and stare at Jared and me, my shoulders bunched around my neck. Well, if you ever need any help, I'll be around. 3rd year, right? I nodded.
All right.
Some of my friends are in that year. Of course, they can't compare to me, but I'll give them the heads up to look out for you. Thank you, Jared. He flashed a dazzling smile, then winked. It's the least I can do for such a cute girl. Oh gosh. The waterworks are coming. Well, I'll see you around. I watched, a torrent of thoughts raging through my head as he took a seat next to a bunch of guys who were all wearing the same jacket. Maya looks like she's about ready to scream. But that's Jared! She tore her eyes away from him and looked at me.
He's so cute.
He's the most beautiful guy in school.
Oh, Jared.
Oh, Jared. I can't believe he just looked at me. I looked at Mai. Her cheeks were glowing in an indecent pink. Why do they all wear those jackets? Aren't all the guys supposed to wear blue blazers as part of their uniform? No, they're allowed to. You know Jared? That girl turned back around and was looking at me with sudden interest. Did I know him? I only talked to him on the train for a few minutes, so not really. We weren't friends or anything. But looking around, Mai and this girl weren't the only ones interested. Everybody seemed to be interested. Seemed to be listening in. They seemed so surprised when he talked to me. Maybe a little white lie couldn't hurt? Okay, now here we go. This is the first choice you get in Asagao Academy Normal Boots Club. Now, do you want to tell the truth or do you want to lie? I personally am going to go for the truth because I don't see myself as much of a liar. But I think this question also goes into play with like one of the harder routes on this entire thing. Questions that pop up will allow you to like figure out like which route you'll be going for. And if you like reject basically everybody, it'll like lead to like the hidden routes that you can get to. But anyway, I'm going to go with not really. Oh. She looked me up and down, sniffed, and turned away. Mine leaned towards me. Don't mind Mimi. She's just trying to get in with you. Get in with me? Why? Well, you asked me about those guys and their jackets, right? Those are their Normal Boots Club jackets. They're... What? What's Normal Boots Club? It's so silly. The roses and the sparkles and the Jared with the mirror. And there's Jock and he's got a jacket. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta stop laughing. Moving on. It's a club we have at school here. It's like totally exclusive and full of only the coolest students. They get together and play video games or something. That one right there is John, also known as Jontron. His bird's name is Jacques. Stupid little bird with a jacket. John's also the president of the drama club here at school. I can only imagine. Next to him is PBG. He and John founded the Normal Boots Club together. PBG is one of the best soccer players on our team. That's kind of true. I've heard PBG is actually pretty, like, sporty, so this is pretty cool. Then there's Gerard. People call him the completionist because he's obsessed with completing things. He even has a beard, even though he's a high schooler. He has the biggest itty-bitty kitty collection I've ever seen. Next to him is Jared, also known as Pro Jared. He's a model. And that's all there is to say about Pro Jared. Then there's Satchbag, but everyone calls him Satch. He's like crazy smart. Those guys over there are Paul, Nick, and Josh. They write a column in the school newspaper called Continue? Yeah, 3 guys or 1 route. I don't want to know. I'll find out eventually. Paul, the one standing up, is the student council president. And that guy in the end there is Shane. He knows more about video games than anyone, ever. Did you know? Shane is the voice of Did you know? Shane is the guy who's in charge of Did You Know Gaming. He's only recently shown his face. This is kind of like the premiere of his face being on the internet. Kind of funny. She exhaled a dreamy sigh into her mashed potatoes. How do you do that? Is that just... So, how would someone, you know, join the Normal Boots Club? You don't choose the boots, Hana. The boots choose you. One does not choose the boots. Funny joke. That was the worst impression I've ever made. What does that even mean? You have to be presented with the boots to be in the club, and they're like super selective. What are the boots? The club has this boot statue. It's like one of their patches. The one on their patches, but it's gold-plated. It's their mascot, I guess? They do this weird initiation ritual with it. Ritual? I hear they fill a room with candles and wear these totally creepy robes during initiation. This year 2 girls said she saw it once, and they were like all like chanting around the boots, and it sounded like they were talking backwards. Left, right, A, B, start, select. But I don't believe her. And even if it's true, I don't care if they're in a cult because they're all really hot. Priorities, ladies and gentlemen. Do they have a lot of friends? Yeah, tons of friends. I'd say they're the most popular kids in school. I mean, everybody in school totally looks up to them. I bet they could get any girl at school, too. Or boy, for that matter. No judging, Hana. No judging. Hey, are you gonna eat your cake? I shook my head, pushed the lie towards the table, across the table to her. For the remainder of lunch, I listened to Mai talk about Jared through mouthfuls of half-dissolved frosting. What time is now? This seems kind of like a good place to end off, actually. I want to keep these, like, first couple episodes for Chapter 1, like, roughly around 40 minutes. Because if it gets a little bit too long, not only will the video, like, screen not record things well enough, but also my computer will overheat. It's a mess. So this seems like a very, very good point to end off. So, thank you all so much for watching. This is Jen, and with Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club. We'll be continuing on in the next episode, and pretty soon we'll be picking our first boy. I say pretty soon. It might be a little while, but patience is a virtue. We'll get there soon enough. Anyway, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want for more. Also, be sure to check out the links in the video description below to other places on the internet where I tend to dwell. And I will see you all next time. Bye! Priorities.